Hello everyone, welcome to today's Tech Tuesdays webinar on EDC and DPM integration. I'm Brinda and I'll be hosting today's webinar. Today's presenter is Ramesh Swaminathan from Informatica's Research and Development team, working as a Principal Product Manager. Before we start this webinar, here are some housekeeping tips. Today's webinar will be for 1 hour. That will include a 45 minutes webcast, and then we will roll over to live for 15 minutes to answer your questions. All dial-in participants will be muted so that the presenter can present without any kind of interruptions, and you can post your questions in the Q&A box that you see on your screen. The session is being recorded and will be available in the Informatica Support YouTube channel and the Success Portal. The link will be emailed to you as well. Also, you can put in your feedbacks and suggestions for the upcoming topics for Tech Tuesday webinars in the survey that follows after this presentation. The Tech Tuesdays webinars is a webinar series introduced within the Success Portal. The Informatica Success Portal is a micro-learning platform that offers free and unlimited learning to all registered users. The Success Portal will list your success offerings, your customer success manager information. You will also get to know your bookings available in the Ask an Expert session and customized recommendation and content. Here are a few important links that you can go over later that will help you in understanding Informatica products and help you with the product adoption journey. Over to you, Ramesh. Thank you.
Thank you for the introductions. Thank you for joining this call today. In our Tech Tuesdays session, today we are going to talk about how enterprise data catalog and data privacy management products work together. What is the points of operations interop between these two products? And what is the business value that you get by deploying data privacy management on top of enterprise data catalog? For some of you who might not know, data privacy management is the new name for secure at source. We might sometimes call it interoperably as secure at source. Some of the documentation might say secure at source, but secure at source and DPM are the same products. We will go into details in a moment. The product secure at source was renamed as data privacy management in the beginning of this year to go in with some of the data privacy features that we built into the product, and also see how our based on how our customers are using the product for managing their data privacy operational use cases. I'll go through, there will be 3 parts to this presentation. The first one, I'll be talking about the business use case and the value of the integration. And I'll talk about the integration points and how you set this up, and then we'll go through a brief demo of how we go through these. Data privacy is a journey. I mean, you'll have to go through multiple steps for you to get to a point where you operationalize data privacy within your organization. Not having a data privacy operation risks your operational efficiency within your organization. It blocks your path towards democratization of data, value creation of data, and also hurts customer loyalty. If your data is not safe, if your data you don't have proper data privacy privacy operations within your organization, your data is not is really safe, and your customer loyalty is going to go down. That's what one of the recent Gartner reports say. It also impacts your compliance. There are various data privacy regulations which has come up over a period of time in different regions. We have CCPA, which went operational very recently in California. GDPR has been operational in EMEA for about a year plus now. And there are various other regulations. I mean, there is New York financial regulations. There are regulations in different parts of the country that's coming up, different parts of the world that's coming up as we speak at this point in time. I heard Brazil just operationalized their privacy regulations a few weeks ago. So privacy regulations are coming up everywhere. But for you to create an effective data privacy operations within your organization, it's a multi-step process. You have to go through various steps of first planning, organizing and operationalizing. Informatica has products which can help you in all these three parts. We have the Axon Data Governance product, which will help you in planning for your regulations and complaints to regulations. It aligns people's processes and systems, and it helps you define your privacy policies and define your workflows of how do you want data to be moving across your different systems. As you do that, Enterprise Data Catalog helps you organizing your data. It helps you discover sensitive data. It helps you discover where your data is across your different IT portfolio, either in your on-prem systems, in file shares, or in your cloud sources. It also classifies the data and organizes the data so that you can get to the data that you want and get enough information about your data. And once you have done that, the next part in your journey is operationalizing your data privacy regulations, right? How do you track data proliferation and access, report on requests, subject requests that you get, and where you are legally bound to report by specific times, right, and specific timelines. How do you prioritize risk? How do you analyze the risk exposure that you have within your organization? How do you protect the personal data that you hold about your subjects, as regulators call it? But basically, it is your customer data, it is your employee data, it is your vendor data that you are storing within your organization. But you need this data for your operations, you need this data for the success of your business, but you have to ensure that this data is identified, it is protected, and you apply all your privacy regulations on this data. That's where the data privacy management comes into picture. So once you have planned, once you have created what is data governance for you, that's where the Axon product comes in, where you can define your processes. Enterprise Data Catalog is your next step, wherein it actually helps you discover where your data is, classify and organize the data. And once you have done that, the next logical piece that you have to do within your organization is operationalize your privacy, and that's where data privacy management comes into picture. Informatica provides you the only integrated platform which provides all the data privacy governance. As I talked about earlier, the Axon product defines what data you have, what does it mean for holding the data, what is the quality of data. You get a dashboard where you can go in and look at where did the data come from, what is the appropriate use of data, how do you access the data, who can help me get access to that data. All that is defined in your data governance dashboard, because Axon is a product that actually brings the context of the data. It defines the processes and policies that define the data that you hold within your organization, and also defines who's the owner of the data, what he can do with the data, and the different policies associated with the usage of data. Catalog is the automation piece, where you can you define schemas, tables, columns. Sorry. It classifies the data. You can create your own data sets, and then Informatica Data Quality helps you to measure the quality metrics associated with your data. And then privacy is the enforcement piece, wherein all your regulations can be enforced. The policies that has been defined by Axon Data Governance product can be enforced. You report on the risk associated with the data. You report on things like if there's a data breach that happens within your organization, it helps you report on that. Once you have all that, right, there are three pieces associated to how privacy will come in once you have identified where your data is, right? Data privacy management helps you classify personal data. DPM, as we call it, has a feature that actually helps you to identify where the personal data is. It helps you do risk simulation. That we have a feature in the product wherein you can go and simulate risks within your organization and figure out what kind of product has what kind of risks within your organization. Once you have Once you've identified where the personal data is and what kind of sensitive data that you hold, then the DPM helps you to respond to data subject requests. You get, as part of regulations, subjects have rights, and they can exercise that rights in terms of requesting for the data that they have, that an organization has about a specific subject, and take actions. It could be a data remedial action, right to be forgotten action, or any other action that different regulators provide to the subjects, right? DPM helps you to ensure that you map identities, you identify that subject data, and then it helps you report on that data. When a subject request comes in, you can create a DSAR report from within data privacy management. I will show that to you in a moment. And we do have customer 360 product that helps you manage consent, and then associated with the data privacy management, we have other products within our portfolio that help you to do remedial action on the data. We have data masking product which help you secure and protect your PII data, and we do have a data archive product within our portfolio which can help you with data minimization and archiving of data that you are holding, which has gone past its retention period that has been defined on your policies. So how does these products work together, right? Axon Data Governance defines your business terms, processes, and policies. It defines what are the define the different critical data elements. The enterprise data catalog actually links your business and technical metadata, while Axon Data Governance provides you with the glossary of what the business terms are. EDC helps you to catalog the technical data, associate the technical data to the business terms, define the lineage of the data, right? If there is change that's happening to the metadata, if there is change that is happening to the technical metadata, how does it impact your governance position, is something that EDC can provide you. Data quality, on the other front, will actually design and define how good is the quality of your data. What are the different data quality rules that you have to design within your system? It defines the DQ metrics and scorecards and say how good is the quality of the data that you are managing as part of your governance policies, right? Within the Axon Data Governance product, you will be able to link to data quality rules. You could have links to profiles and scorecards that comes from data quality, and view it within your data governance portfolio. Axon can also read data privacy information and provide a dashboard view of how good is your data privacy operations at the point in time. But what we are going to discuss today is how does enterprise data catalog and data privacy management work together. Because data privacy management goes in and identifies sensitive data. It identifies how much of sensitive data do you hold within your organization. It measures risks. It provides you a risk score at a specific data store level or across your organization level. It also tells you, it also provides you mechanisms in which you can apply protection on that data. It calculates the metrics associated to protection and provides you with a dashboard that tells you how much of your data is protected. Data privacy management helps you do DSAR reporting. It helps you do data access reporting. It also helps you orchestrate remedial actions on the data that is actually coming in. What is the difference? One of the major questions that keeps asking is, what is common between EDC and DPM, and what value do I get if I have EDC and procure DPM, or if I have DPM and procure EDC? This basically provides you, this table actually provides you a view of the different functionality, which is different from EDC. There is a set of functionality which are very similar, which is the same, right? Between data privacy management and EDC, things like data store, data domains, data store, where DPM calls it a data store while EDC calls it a resource. The way you do curation, the profiling, the sampling, the conformance scores, the match criteria. I'm not going to go through this whole list, but this is for you to see what is the difference between EDC, what is common between EDC and DPM. DPM makes use of the underlying EDC to give some of the capabilities, right? Definition of what data domain is, what is associated metadata, and all comes to DPM from EDC, right? But what DPM does differently is DPM has a concept of a policy. What a policy is what we call as within DPM a classification policy. A classification policy could be a GDPR classification policy or a CCPA classification policy. What that means from a user perspective is, how do you define a CCPA policy within your organization? How does a data store uh, becomes associated to a CCPA policy? What data is required in a data store to be associated to a CCPA policy? How does your CCP regulations come into play for a specific data store based on the attributes of that data store? That is something that you define within DPM. DPM has different other functionality that we use. These are the technical details that you can go through in detail. I'm not going to go through some of these details at this point in time for want of time. From a technical perspective, I would like to talk about where this interoperability comes in between EDC and DPM. Installation of data privacy management requires EDC. If you are a data privacy management only customer, if you are going to install data privacy management only, also you will actually get to install EDC. EDC gets installed as part of data privacy management, but your license will actually define what features that you can use of EDC. If you are a DPM only customer, you will not have access to the EDC UI. You will not have access to the catalog UI. You will not be able to do all the good things that you can do in EDC. But if you are an EDC customer and if you are procuring a DPM license, you can install data privacy management on an existing EDC install. They can both be installed together from data privacy management 10.4.1. There is an integrated installer for deploying EDC and DPM together. As part of your DPM installer, EDC also can be deployed, or DPM can be installed on top of your existing EDC installation. If you are an EDC customer and if you have upgraded to 10.4.1, you can, with using the same EDC installer, you can also install DPM. But even prior to that, if you are a 10.4 customer, even on that you can DPM can be installed on an existing instance of EDC, but you would have a different install experience. One of the caveats that I want to bring up is data privacy management has a feature called subject registry. And if it is a subject registry use case, it is generally recommended that you install EDC and DPM with an external cluster option that provides you with the capability to manage your subject indexes better. The reason for that is in large organizations with large installs, you could have a huge volume of subjects in your organization. So if you are a typical in a typical consumer business, if you're in banking, retail, insurance, you will have millions of customers. You will have, you could go to 300, 500, 800 million customers. So if you want to create a subject index, it is generally recommended that you do an external cluster option of EDC used. Though it is only a recommendation, it is not mandated. From a performance perspective, it is recommended that you use an external cluster, but you could continue to use an internal cluster too for this. So if you have EDC installed in your organization, you can very much accelerate your time to value from a data privacy perspective. You can actually go in and import data stores and scan results from EDC. You can do incremental scans using EDC and use that to highlight the policy gaps, and you can do an on-demand sync. I'm going to actually show you how that happens. right? Both these, one thing to note, right, as I talk through this, the major point that I want to talk about in this session today is both these products work in sync. There is a synergy between these two products. EDC, DPM is installed on top of EDC, and DPM utilizes most of the EDC functionality for its functions. DPM is actually used to, analyze your risks and orchestrate remediation, while uh, while EDC is used to identify data. DPM is not a replacement for EDC, nor EDC is a replacement for DPM. Both these products have its unique use cases. EDC is for cataloging use case, where you identify your metadata across your IT portfolio, while DPM is used to identify sensitive data, remediate on the sensitive data that you have identified, and do privacy use cases. So once you have, assume you are a data privacy management customer, you are a EDC customer, and you have just onboarded DPM into your portfolio. You can actually bring in all the resources that you have created in EDC into DPM, right? You can actually go in and say, if you can have a view into the UI that I have, there is a manage data store action page where you can go in and have an action called import catalog resource. Import catalog resource will import the connection, import the resource, and if you have already scanned the data in the data store in EDC, it will bring in the scan information also. That's the beauty of the product. That's why the incremental data privacy management on EDC is much more valuable, because if you had scanned a data store from EDC for a specific purpose, now you are going to repurpose it for your data privacy operations also. That's the power the Informatica platform gives you. There is, like, you don't have to scan it multiple times. You have scanned it once and you can actually bring it in. And even if you are doing incremental scans, you will again bring it in. I'll show that to you in a moment, right? So the basic value that I want to talk about is scan once and use across your catalog, security, privacy use cases. Once you have scanned a data store resource for your catalog capability, wherein you want to identify metadata, you want to identify lineage of your data, the same scan information that you have used is now going to be used for your security and privacy use cases. That is, you're going to use the same set of scan information for taking remediation action. The same data is going to be used for identifying what your risk score is. The same data is going to be used for doing a risk simulation. And the same data is going to be used for your privacy use cases in terms of identifying GDPR data, being able to create subject indexes, being able to do DSAR actions on that subject request. So, but if you're, it's the other way is also true. If you're a DPM customer and if you have used data privacy management only, and you're creating these resources in data privacy management, this is called data stores. If you're creating these resources in DPM, then these resources created in DPM are actually created in EDC. The platform is a place where this is created. If you have if you have actually gone in and scanned a source in DPM, these scan results are actually available in EDC, right? And further along, if you are actually using EDC for your scans, and you scan that specific resource that was created in DPM from the EDC UI, you can import that results from enterprise catalog action also. If you can see in the UI, there's an yellow trigger button that you see, or yellow trigger icon that you see. What this icon is telling you is that this data store has changed from the platform, from the EDC. Effectively, that means that there has been some change. There is a new scan that has happened. You could just click on it and bring in the data and say, hey, I want to remediate this, and go in and go in and say that and import these actions into DPM. So once you have done an incremental scan in EDC, or you have done some kind of curation in EDC, you can bring that information into DPM. A sync job, a sync job can happen. You can trigger a sync job so that the data syncs in, right? Again, the power of the platform. The other part that you can do is create an automated sync. When you create a data store in EDC, in DPM, or even otherwise, you can go and edit a data store in DPM and say that I want to do an auto sync. What the auto sync option does is this will automatically sync results from EDC into DPM. If the scans are happening continuously, if you have scheduled scans in EDC to happen every week, every day, or every month based on your specific use case, these scan results will be brought into DPM automatically. There's an auto sync job that runs at regular interval, and the data can be brought back in. In the previous screen, you saw that you had to trigger an action. In this screen, there's an option wherein you don't have to trigger an action. You can actually go in and say, click a button and say, do an auto sync. And this auto sync will automatically happen whenever there is a regular sync job that happens that will do this job for you. As the scans are run using the base platform and using enterprise data catalog, DPM also imports a lineage of data, lineage information of a specific resource into DPM. But DPM does value add on top of that. While DPM imports lineage information from EDC during the scans, what it displays is it displays proliferation of sensitive data. You can see that there are some red marks here in this screenshot. What this tells you is while there has been proliferation of data across multiple data sources, it also tells you that there has been proliferation of sensitive data, right? DPM has identified that there has been sensitive data that is available in these data stores, and this sensitive data has proliferated across different data stores. If you had applied protection status on this particular data set, you would have seen that this red would have turned green. That would show you that the data that has proliferated is protected. You had done some kind of a masking action on the data, and that's why the data is showing green. It also overlays process information from Axon. So if you have Axon data governance and this particular data store is associated to a specific process in Axon, this proliferation information within DPM also shows the associated process information. So for what process, as part of what process that this data is being moved from one data store to another? Is it for a specific process, or it could be a finance operation? It could be a invoice payment process. It could be any kind of process that is defined, because Axon is where you would go and define your processes, and all the resources and data stores are associated to given processes. We bring in that information from Axon and EDC and show you how this proliferation of information is happening, and the processes for which this proliferation of information has happened. Let me go in and do a brief demo right now. I'll stop sharing my screen for a moment and then share again. So what you're seeing here is data privacy management. This is the privacy dashboard of data privacy management. What you're seeing here are all the operations associated to your privacy operations. You're seeing the total number of subjects available in your system, in your organization, the number of subject requests that has been received over a period of time, the types of subjects that you have. It tells you that there are like about 9 subject types in the system. For example, it tells you that your subject types could be your customers, your vendors, your employees. You could have different types of subjects, and it also tells you what are the different types of subject stores, data stores that you have with subjects and things like that. Right. It also tells you what are the top data stores with subjects. It tells you the subject requests by type, what are the subject requests that was received during a specific period of time, and all that. Let me switch to the product also has another dashboard, which is a security dashboard. When you go to the security dashboard, it gives you a different view of the same data. It's now giving you the risk status of the data. It tells me that my organization is pretty secure. I have a risk score of 13. But I have 99% protected data and 1% protected data. what is the sensitive level, what are the residual risks, to provide you with the top data stores by their risk scores, and it gives you different kinds of views of the data. It also tells you what is the location of your sensitive data within your organization. I say what are the sensitive, where are the different data centers where I have sensitive data. I can go and click on one and get to more details. So what I basically want to show you today, given the time I have at this point, is to show you how data DPM syncs with EDC. If I go in and say, let me go to the data stores, right? And this is where I can create a data store. This is what I told you about, right? There's an Amazon S3 store which says that there is some change, right? So let's say the catalog scan on the data store app, there you go in, click action, scan for missing data domains, right? It will also tell you that if I go and click, right? So now we can see that this tells you that there are recent updates available in enterprise data catalog. What it means that enterprise data catalog has scanned this data after it has imported information from within DPM, and there are like additional data domains that are available in this particular data store, which is the banking server, which I don't have, right? I can go and I can see that these are available, right? I can go here and say scan for missing data domains. So this will go in and actually bring in the information from, it can go and scan again, bring in the information from enterprise data catalog. I can say that, okay, import results from enterprise data catalog again to actually get in the information from EDC instead of me scanning this again. Right? I can also go in and say that I want to import catalog resources, right? What import catalog resources does is basically it goes in and says that brings in the information that which is available in EDC, which is not available in DPM. So these are the different classification policies that I have in the system. So I want to do GDPR classification policy, right? And I want to do CCPA here, for example, right? And include row counts. So basically row counts also bring in the row counts from EDC into the system, right? And I can say import. So what this means is within data privacy management, I have this policy called CCPA, and within CCPA there is a set of data domains. Let me go in and see. Let me go in and show you for a moment what classification policies are. Right? If I go to CCPA classification policy, my CCPA classification policy within DPM says that it has 51 data domains here. And what I'm telling here to EDC when I'm doing this is get me all those resources, all those data stores within EDC that is associated with these data domains. So if there is an account number data domain, if there are data stores within EDC that is associated to an account number data domain, please bring this into EDC for me. So it does an import action, and there's a job that will run and import all this data into EDC. I'm not doing it right now because I've already done that before. The other thing that you can do from within here, I'm just closing CCPA policies from here, right? And now I'm going to open. I'll again open data stores and create a new data store. When I create a new data store, what you can see here, there's something called an auto sync catalog option. So what this auto sync catalog option does is this is where it actually goes in and runs a regular sync job and brings in data from EDC into DPM. You don't have to. Earlier in my earlier view, I showed you that there has been a delta, and the system is prompting me to say, hey, run a job, import data from EDC into DPM. But here in this particular case, when I create a new data store and I say do an auto sync catalog, it will automatically sync catalogs for me. It will automatically bring data from EDC into DPM, and I don't have to run this job for me. As we are here, I'm going to show you once the data comes into EDC, once the data comes into DPM, what all can we do within DPM, right? One thing that I can do is do a risk simulation, right? I can go in and do a risk simulation plan, and so I can open. I had done an existing risk simulation, and I can edit this and create. What this actually tells you is like I have picked up 4 data stores: customers, UK data, India, NHL data, and UK customer, right? And then I have, if I had applied protection status on this, right? If I had applied protection status on this, what is the different kinds of risk, that is the residual risk cost that will go up or go down for an existing data store, and what is the estimated benefit that I will get out of this. So this is something I can go and edit this and do whatever, right? I mean, I can go and say I can add a new data store, I can filter it, I can add protection status, and do various properties, right? So this is the demo and things I can do here. This risk simulation actually provides you a way in which you can identify how you can regulate the risk exposure that you have from a sensitive data perspective, what kind of a protection plan that you can apply, and what is the benefit that you get out of a protection plan that you are applying within your system, right? I can actually go in and do various other stuff. I can actually go in and say I want to do anomaly detection, right? Uh, so anomaly detection actually tells you based on user behaviors within data privacy management. This is another feature within data privacy management wherein I can go in and define various security policies. And based on the security policies, if there has been anomalies in user behaviors, then that can be identified within the system. What it effectively means is if there is an unauthorized access to a data store, or if there is an if somebody is accessing the data store at a time in which he's not supposed to be accessing the data store, that kind of information can be flagged. The other data privacy management features that is available within the product is here. And remember, all this information is actually coming in from the base information has come in from enterprise data catalog. We have input information from enterprise data catalog, and then these are functionality that has been built on top of the scan information that actually comes in from EDC. Right? I can go in and search for, and these are the different subject types that I have within my organization. I want to go and search for employees, and let's say I want to look for John. So what I'm doing here is I have already enabled the subject registry within my DPM instance. I have created a subject index. I've created a subject index by running scans on my various data stores, identifying sensitive data, identifying where my subject data is, and then now I'm going in and saying that where is now now when I get a request for a DSAR, for example, a subject data access request, or for a right to be forgotten action, or some kind of a subject request, then I can go in and do that from within data privacy management. Here I've got a request from a John Dirt, so I'm going to go in and look at John Dirt's information. I go and click here and I see that the system is going in and searching for John Dirt's information. It tells me that John Dirt's mobile number is this is his gender, his residency is in Illinois, US, and his data is available in one specific data store here. I can go in and see what all information about John Dirt I have. I have his email address, full name, marital status, mobile number, date of birth. So these are the sensitive information about John Doe that I hold, and I can go in and create a request. So what this effectively means is I'm going and creating a prepared DSAR. This is creating a system task in the system, which is actually going in and creating data about John Dirt. It is actually going to all the data stores and trying to collect information about John Dirt within my system. It actually takes some time to build this. It should be done in a few minutes. Once it is done, I should be able to go in and request John Dirt's information. As I do this, I can also do other stuff. I can actually go in and apply legal hold on the data. So what this tells you is there is a litigation that is happening on John Dirt, and this tells privacy operators that I should not be deleting John Dirt's information or doing any action on John Dirt's information because a legal hold has been applied on that data. I can go into other actions too. I can go and select this particular data store and say I can create a service management ticket. What this means is I could go in and say that, hey, I want information, I want to do a remedial action on John Dirt because I have got a request, and because I don't have access directly to this Oracle HDFC CCHR database, I can create a service management ticket and say that, hey, I want to create a service management um, ticket where the data store owner of this particular data store can go in and take action. Right now, this is subject is under legal hold, so it's asking me for confirmation action. And once I create, then I can go in and create a service management ticket. Right. With this action, I can say that what is the urgency, what information I can provide, all this information. We do have, if there is a DSAR report available, is already created, it gets attached because the DSAR report will have information about a specific subject, and I can create a task here. And this task will get automatically assigned to the person. It could be, it could get automatically, I have selected automatic here because I assume that the service management system that is handling this task will know how to assign this, and then the action will be taken. I go back to my subject registry, I go back to my request, right, and see if the DSAR action has happened. It is still not happening, so the job is now completed. That effectively means that a DSAR report is available. I can go in and say download this DSAR report. And this DSAR report is available in various formats. I can do a summary PDF, I can do a summary CSV or a detailed CSV, and I open this DSAR report from within this UI. That's all I had about data privacy management here, and how it interopts with how it interopts with EDC. The bottom line here is if you have an existing EDC investment within your organization, DPM is an add-on that you can add in and get all the other capabilities that data privacy management provides. If you are a DPM customer, then you already have scanned data that could be used for creating your data. The products work very well with each other. EDC is sort of a platform for on which DPM has been created, and there's a lot of additional capability that data privacy management has built on top of the enterprise data catalog, for which it is an incremental value add for your organization and not a completely new install, and 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 the incremental time to value of using data privacy management on an existing EDC is very huge. Thank you. I will now open this up for questions.
Hi everyone, please post your questions in the Q&A box that you see right on your screen. We'll try and answer them. Hi Ramesh, we have your questions coming in the Q&A box.
Yeah, I am answering them. And there's a question which says, do you need to finish curation of domains in EDC for DPM to be effective? Yes, if you are scanning your data stored from EDC, you will have to complete your curation in EDC, and DPM will pick that up from there. And there is a question from Tech Mahindra. How do you link resources in EDC and DPM? I think Anay has answered that question. You don't have to do a specific link. There is, as I mentioned earlier, there is a sync job that happens. There is an input catalog resources that you can do to actually sync these two resources together, or you can do an automated sync. There is a question on, do you limit the roles to a specific data store? within DPM, there are security policies that you can create and security groups that you can create to actually limit roles to specific data stores so that you can do actions on specific data stores only. There's another question from ASPDG. The question is, when we run a scan in DPM, a resource gets created in EDC, can we update this resource? If we modify the resource in EDC, will those changes get updated in DPM and vice versa? Yes, it will be. When you actually sync the resources to data stores in DPM, it will be in sync. Sudha from S&P Global. Hi, Sudha. How are you? Yes. Do we need data masking tool for risk simulation? No, you don't need a risk data masking tool for risk simulation. Risk simulation is something that you can do within DPM by assuming that you are going to do some kind of risk mitigation, some protection plan, which could be data masking or could be an external tool outside of Informatica. So you don't need risk simulation for that. You don't need data masking for doing risk simulation within DPM. The next question is from AAPLC. Sally is asking me a question is, can you implement data retention management via DPM? You cannot do it at this point via DPM. You need a product called Data Archive from Informatica, where you can actually go in and archive data to the Data Archive product and apply retention on that. You cannot do it directly from DPM at this point in time. But that's a roadmap item that we are looking at, where we can link these products together so that you can apply retention policies on the data that is on your source data through DPM. That's something that we are looking at for the future. There is a question from Ashish. How are reports generated in DPM? File formats, and can BI tools use DPM repository? No, Ashish, I'm not very clear on the question. So when you are saying reports, are you talking about the subject registry reports that we created for you that was created in the demo? If that's the question, you cannot. I mean, you can use BI tools, but what the product does is the product exposes these APIs so that you can use the API to generate the data and use that data in your BI tools to create your subject registry reports. That is, if you have any follow-up question, please feel free to ask me. Ashish, I don't know if I understood your question and answered it right. Does DPM use EDC resource definition detail? Yes, it does use EDC resource definition detail. That's all questions I see on the Q&A box section here. Any other questions from the team? I mean, as you're asking questions, I would like to thank all of you for joining this session, spending time with us, spending a valuable 1 hour today with us to go through how DPM and EDC works together. These products are they are built on top of each other. It's built on the same platform, so there is a lot of interoperability that happens between these two products. You create the resource once in EDC, use that in DPM, or if you have already done the scans in EDC, you consume that in DPM. Or the vice versa, if you have already you created and ran your scans in DPM, you can use that in EDC, right? Wherever your journey has started, if you have started with a catalog use case, or you have started with the data privacy use case, it is pretty much easy for you to pick the other use case, pick the other product, install them, and start using them. Wait for some more time to, if there are any more further questions, we can answer them. you have demos about subject registry? Question from Marcos. We do have demos about subject registry. We have some canned demos in the success portal that you should be able to go in and have a look at. If not, please contact me. My name is Ramesh Swaminathan. I'm the product manager for the data privacy management product, and I would be more than happy to do a customized demo for you. Another question from Ashish on how many resources DPM can handle in different licenses. So if this is a license question, it is licensed DPM and EDC are licensed separately. You need to have separate licenses for DPM and EDC, and the data stores and the resource counts for DPM and EDC are different. What kind of skill set is needed to implement this setup? Is a question from EMG, Ali Zain. If you're familiar with EDC, it is the same kind of skill sets that you require for DPM2. The initial setup, the creation of resources or data stores, it's called resources in EDC, while it is called data stores in DPM. And creation of data domains and running the scans are all very similar. Beyond that, for setting up the subject registry piece, there would be some kind of DBA skill sets required for you to set up the subject registry, because you need one subject matter expert who understands what kind of to understand your configurations initially. But once it has been set up, then once the setup is done and the subject registry or subject index has been created, post that for operationalizing your privacy, you don't require technical skill sets. You need you will just need business skill sets for operator kind of skill sets to operate this product. Next question from Ashish is if we have Axon and EDC. Yeah, sorry. If we have Axon and EDC combination already, how much value add can be delivered to business by adding DPM? There is a lot of value add that DPM brings into the table from a data privacy and security perspective. DPM identifies sensitive data. DPM identifies sensitive data and can apply protection on that data. DPM can operationalize your privacy in terms of DPM is data aware, while Axon is for the business users who actually go in and define the processes and the regulations with the associated data to it. DPM is data aware in terms of operationalizing your privacy. DPM is a product that can execute on your privacy regulations, can execute on your protection regulations. It ensures that your data it identifies sensitive data, it protects sensitive data. It also does things like breach reporting. It provides information for your visa requests. It provides information for all your associated subject requests. All that is operationalized by DPM. DPM is a product that does all that, while Axon will actually provide the definitions for those. Thanks, Patricia. Sorry, hope that answers your question, Ashish. I mean, I can do a deep dive session, or somebody from our team would be able to take you through the DPM product and provide you more information on what data privacy management does on top of Axon and EDC.
So it looks like we have answered most of the questions. Thanks everyone for joining this webinar. Hope everyone is safe. If we have failed to answer any of your questions, we'll get back to you after the session. Thank you, Ramesh, for setting aside some time for the webinar. There is one question, Ramesh. Can we answer that? From Niharika.
Please let us know when will we have a deep dive session on data privacy management. We will definitely have one. We will schedule this hopefully sometime next month, and we will get back to you. There is one session on Axon, EDC, and DPM that's coming up. I think that's end of next month. I think it is targeted for sometime like the week of 20th or 25th of October. I don't know the exact dates. Please look out for it. And then we will schedule a deep dive session on data privacy management, and we'll keep you updated.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Sure, Ashish. We will. There's one more question. Yes, Ashish, we'll figure out if there's some document that we can, or a white paper that we can send out to you on these products. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, thanks everyone. Thanks for your time today, and we'll talk to you again.
Thank you, everyone. See you in the next Tech Tuesday.